Welcome to Jollof and Fiction, home of African literature and stories, the kind that warm your heart like a fresh pot of jollof. Today, you're tuning into a recorded session of our online book discussion, so sit back, relax, and join the conversation.
Hand and feeling Brown and feeling Timmy. Okay, I'm feeling Daniel. All right, thank you very much for joining today's review. My name is Barnabas, and I am your host for tonight. And tonight's discussion is quite an interesting one: Gen Z and the realities of adulting in Nigeria. Okay, so for starters, I'd just like to put this out there that a lot of times when people say the word Gen Z, they are kind of attributing it to something bad. Like, oh, someone just make a comment, oh, it's Gen Z, don't worry. And they are saying that with something bad in mind. But I like to say firsthand that I like our generation. I like that we are Gen Z. We've achieved so much and we've done a lot. And I also want to put it that I hope we're all aware that Gen Z starts from 1997 down to 2012. So that being said, a lot of us here fall under that category. From 97 to 2012 is Gen Z. Although I heard recently there is a category, millennials, and that refers to Gen Zs who still have some character traits of millennials. They are called millennials. I just recently learned that, I think a couple of months ago. But yeah, so there are several things we face as Generation Z, and we had listed a couple of them that we're going to discuss this night. First is the evolving parent-child relationship, and that's the truth that your relationship with your parents will change as you grow. So now, to kickstart that conversation, I'd just like to quickly just do a check and ask this question. When do you think, just give me a minute and let me go to the question. As a child, when do you think your independence begins? Is it? I don't want to hear your thoughts on that. Just tell me what you think it should. When you think adulthood should start? Is it when you leave home? And when you leave home applies when you leave for school, the university, where you no longer stay with your parents. When do you think active parenting should stop or should reduce for a child? Just let me just hear your thoughts. Just let me know. Is it when you leave home or when you start earning? If you have anything to say, just indicate with a raise of hand and I'll let you speak. It's a general question. It's not really a technical question. Let me just know your stand. I'd like to hear everybody's stand. When do you think active parenting should reduce? You don't necessarily need to know. Just let me just know your thoughts on it so you can raise your hand and speak. Am I audible, please? If I am audible, indicate with an emoji. Yes. So Uzoma, you indicated. Oh, neighbor can't hear me.
Wait, I didn't hear the question well.
Okay, I was asking, when do you think active parenting should reduce? Like, is it when the child leaves home or when the child starts earning? Now, when I say leave, I mean when you leave for school or when the child starts earning. You know, even if you are 30, you're still someone's child. So permit me for using the word child. Go ahead and speak. Thank you. Who wants to say something? When do you think? Okay, Taylor says when your child starts earning, so a parent can reduce their parenting at the time where the child starts earning. Who else has a different opinion? I think I read somewhere that you don't. I heard somewhere that there is never a point where you do not need parenting. I don't know how true that is. I believe the context would have been maybe there is never a point where you don't need your parents, because even when you are the age where you're independent, you still actually need your mom around. Do you understand? Okay, so neighbor, what's your view on it? Do you agree? We all agree with Taylor, saying that a lot of you have not raised your hand or said anything different. So I'm saying that we agree with Taylor when a child starts earning. But what if a child starts earning when he's in his father's house at 17 or so?
Sorry, I didn't actually hear what was said. By the time I was logging in, I heard when a child starts earning.
Okay, I asked the question, when do you think active parenting should reduce? Is it when a child leaves his house, that leaves for school, or when he starts earning? And I also mentioned that, please permit me to use the word child, because even a 30-year-old is someone's child. So let me use the word child for this context. When do you think active parenting should be reduced over a child? Is it when the child starts earning or when the child leaves home? So I initially thought you said when the child starts earning. I'm like, a child can start earning at 17, doesn't mean he no longer needs parenting. Do you understand? So let me hear your thoughts on the issue. Whose hand? Daniel's hand was raised first. So please, Daniel, go ahead and speak. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. So yeah, for me, I think active parenting should reduce. I think when someone's child, I think like moves out from his parents' house and is able to fend for himself in a certain kind of way. Yeah, so that's my own opinion.
Okay, thank you very much. For those asking what active parenting is, when you're a parent over a child, it means you decide what the child should do, what he or she, where she should go, or something like that. They have a say, like their words hold sway over your decisions. You can't do anything outside them. Do you understand? So when do you think that should reduce for a child? Do you get so? Sorry, Daniel, please could you go over your points again? Please just kindly run me through. What was it you said? You said when you think he has started earning. Is that what you said? Please just.
Okay, I said I think active parenting should reduce or should reduce when someone leaves his or her parents' house and is able to fend for him or herself in a certain kind of way, like not always relying on your parents for certain kind of things, like certain kind of basic things. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for that. Whose hand was raised again? Mesoma, please go ahead and speak.
Okay, good evening, everybody. So I think active parenting should reduce when a child leaves for school because a lot of decisions would be taken by that child on their own. It's not necessarily when they start earning because we know how Nigeria is now, but then a lot of active decisions that affects life, like you really would not call your parents again for literally everything. When you start taking decision, when you start making life-changing, important, drastic, enormous decision, and that's when active parenting should reduce.
Okay, thank you. I didn't see it in this life before. I think you have a point because in school you start making decisions by yourself. Do you understand? You start deciding. Okay, at home you can even decide. You don't. Sometimes you don't have a choice over the food you eat at home, but in school you decide that. So, I want to agree with you, but I think I agree with your point as well. Thank you. Who's next? Inyebong Etuk, can go ahead and speak. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I agree with Mesama's points that active parenting should reduce, not stop, when the child leaves for school. And even before that, when the child starts making decisions for himself or herself. Like, because I remember in 100 level, I had some of my classmates who were already working. Like, this guy learns how to fix things, but he didn't study engineering. He could fix phones, I think batteries, generators, anything he could fix, and he learned it by himself. I think he had a tutor too that he was working under. So yeah, I think that he in year one was capable of taking care of himself. Though I still feel as if his parents could advise him one way or the other, but active parenting should reduce around that time because he is capable of taking care of himself. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Inyebong. Thank you for your input. Indy Brown, you can go ahead.
Okay. In my personal opinion, I think active parenting should start reducing as soon as you're done with SS3. That's my opinion. Once you're done with SS3, I think from then on, it should start reducing. I should add with a caution. Very little, by the way. It's not that you just remove hand from the child as soon as the guy leaves SS3, but it should start reducing. The concepts around like your choice, your responsibility for yourself, choice and responsibility for yourself, as at that age, as that age should start being imbibed by a child. Once you leave SS3, then before you even talk about you gain admission and all that, as soon as you're done with SS3, active parenting should reduce gradually, tending to X. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Amy Brown. Thank you for your input. Amy Brown says from SS3 they should make the couple time from your head from SS3 small. Thank you, Amy Brown. Lambert, go ahead and speak. Sorry, Taylor, your voice is quite low. I don't know if it's just me.
Hello, am I being heard better now?
Yeah, you're clear. You're clearer now. Thank you.
Okay, I said I agree with what everyone has said, but I would like to say that to me, both SS3 and when they leave for school is too early. But majorly when they start taking on responsibility, when they show that they can effectively take on some of life's hurdles and conquer it, when they can face a challenge by themselves and come up with a solution and implement it without my input, at whatever age that starts, is when I would say active parenting can now officially begin to take the back seat. But I feel like there is no age, because there are some people that are 30, they are still not very, very correct. But when I look at them and see that this person is taking initiative, taking responsibility, they have come of age literally, and there are parameters with which to judge if someone has come of age. That is when I will say yes, active parenting can begin. But like Amy said, never ever completely fade. But even my daughter who has 7 children, still my baby girl, can still come home at any time. I'm still her mom. So begin to reduce but not vanish from the scene.
Thank you so much, Lambert, for your input. Thank you. Uzoma, after Uzoma, then Judy, that'll be the last. Uzoma, you can go ahead and speak.
All right, so I agree with what they said. Active parenting I think it should also reduce when I enter school. It's not that time I entered school before 18 and I was using my mom's ATM card, and then by 10 she was not seeing debit alerts that I was buying something. I quickly called me, Ozoma, what are you buying by? I'm like, you don't know how school setting works or something. So they don't, I think it should reduce. But then what I wanted to add was that it should intensify during puberty. So usually parents become shocked when children just become, they try to show that, oh, this child is growing. They can see that, oh, this child is becoming more intelligent, this child knows things, child is getting into puberty, and then they want to, I say it should intensify during puberty. Not that the parents should definitely be making all the decisions or be more strict during puberty, but they should understand that this child is changing, and they should now impute, how will I put it? They should now allow for the child's opinion to be more heard, because you remember during that time that it's common for children to be like, oh, I'm not a child anymore. Why mommy is always treating me like I'm a baby? Something like that. I think that during puberty, it should intensify. That means the parents should actively note that, oh, this person is definitely growing up, and should allow for the child to make some of their decisions on their own. They should not oversee everything. So that's what I wanted to add.
Thank you very much. And I believe you're right, because the puberty, the adolescents, that's like their formative years. So it's important that at least you're still guiding them through. Thank you very much. Judith, you can go ahead and speak. And be the last for this question. Thank you.
All right, hi, good evening, everyone. I have a slightly different opinion. I actually believe that maturity differs for each child, and I think active parenting should stop when parents. That is why parents are supposed to be emotionally and psychologically involved in their child's upbringing. You should know when your child has started maturing and doesn't need active parenting. Some people that, for example, when I was in 100 level, 200 level, I saw people that their parents were like actively parenting while they were in school. They come in 2 weeks, almost every week to see them. Where are you? What are you doing? And my parents never did that for me. At some point, I'm like, do these people really love me? But at the same time, as time goes on, I realized that it was actually a blessing for them not to be calling me every now and then. That is because they trust me and they know I've matured enough. Now, I actually found out that those people that their parents are actively parenting like that, they are not mature enough to take some decisions for themselves. So we can all tell that we all don't come to maturity at the same age. It's different for everybody. It's different for every child. Even every child in the house might be born of the same parents, but they are different. They grow at different rates. So parents should know their children, know when to hands off. That is if they are involved in their lives. If they are not involved, then maybe they can follow the rudimentary after SS3, you let them go. But I think checking in to know when they are mature enough is much better. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I agree with this as well. When you mentioned that there were people that their parents would often visit, I was like, the parents already knows the kind of child they have. There are some children that if you leave them, they're just waiting to be free. So I think for some it's important that they are still following up on them, even in second year, third year. And like you said, it's relative. There are some that they mature maybe in primary six, they're already taking care of their younger siblings and making decisions, life decisions. But it's relative, it says, right? I think it's unique to each parent. Now the next question is quite sensitive because it has to do with money. At what age do you think that your parents can hands off and say, okay, you will not be sent? Because I heard this thing where they said if you are 25 or 20, from 25 to 30 and your parents are still sending you money, they can as well marry you off. You will not have any, like you will not have a say when they decide, or when you tell them, oh, this is somebody I want to marry. Like you that we are still sending you pocket money. How can we trust you to make the decision about for a life partner? Do you understand? But I feel maybe I can always call my dad and like maybe if I'm 30, I feel like I can call and say, oh, please, I need you to give me money. But now I have that consciousness that I've been raised that if I'm a certain age, I can't ask them again. If I'm asking, it has to be alone. So what are your thoughts about that? About receiving money from parents? When do you think? I'm just curious, Shan. I'm asking this now. What are your thoughts? Okay, Daniel, can go ahead and speak. After Daniel, Mesoma.
Okay. Well, I would say that parents should like hands off from their children affairs or whatever. I won't say at a specific age, but I would just say like when they find out like, oh, this person, like I think Besoma said, this person can take up responsibilities, like major life responsibility. Yeah. Even though at 18, okay, you feel, oh, this person
Daniel, I'm
can
not
take
sure
up.
you quite got the question. I'm talking about financially. Like, do you understand? You know where?
Oh,
Yeah, financially. At what point do you think
oh,
they? Because there's this
at
stigma that
first,
you are 26 or 20, 30 and you're still receiving money from home. Something's wrong with your
oh,
brain. Do you understand? So I'm like,
no.
who invented this? Who created the stigma? Who said there's a stigma? Because
Well,
I mean, you look at Bible times, you hear things like Isaac was with his father even at age 60 something. Abraham rather was with his father even to age 70. I'm just saying that who invented all this stigma that okay, at a certain age you collect money from your parents. So much so that you can be in dire need for something. And because you feel, oh, you are a certain age where you're not supposed to get money from them, you don't even ask them. Then eventually when you call them and they say, you should have just called us. Do you understand? I'm just saying that who invented all this thing? Is there a need for it? Do you understand? At what age should they stop sending you money? So Mesoma, after Mesoma, Judith, then in neighbor.
Okay, so I don't think there is any age per se, right? Because it's only me my daddy have. Oh, if he not send me money, who don't want to collect from? He gonna send me the money. But then, personally, I know that I don't really bill my dad billing like that, you know. But there's really no age per se. He's your father. He's the one that brought you into this world. If he cannot help you, who's gonna help you? And the other hand too, I feel like it plays a role with parental relationship, right? With the way you relate with your parents. I can tell my dad now to give me money and he'll give me, right? But then there are some people that they can't tell their parents, depending on how things are. They can't tell their parents. Maybe their parents are those types that believe that once they've seen you through university, maybe automatic, like those parents that believe that once you are done with school, automatically there's the job waiting for you in one shell company that's paying you millions of naira, and then they can start going abroad. But they don't understand that that's not how it is. Everybody's struggling in this country. But if you have a close relationship with your parents, even if you are married, I feel like you can ask them for money. They can even stay and dash you money safe. It's very possible. So I just feel it depends on the relationship one has with their parents.
All right, thank you very much. You have explained that it's based on relationship. Thank you so much. Who's next? Judith. After Judith, Nebo. Thank you. Please can you keep it brief since we have like two other things to talk about. Even if I know that we might not finish, we'll keep like push it to next week, upper Thursday. Thank you.
Okay, what I think about when it comes to your parents giving you money at a certain age is still dependent on the type of people your parents are, not even the type of parents, in quotes, the mindset and the type of people your parents are. It actually boils down to that, because just as Omar said, there are different people are different. So there are parents that are overprotective of their children. They love their children so much that even if they are 50 and they need money, they send to them. I know people that their parents still send money and they be like, I don't need this money. It's just like at some point they'll be like, okay, don't worry, I'll stop sending to you. But once you need money, call me and tell me. And I think that's how every parent is supposed to be. And that is how I plan to be as a parent. But there are parents that tie it to, as long as they still give you money, you have to do their bidding. You have to, you see, that is now when the child now wants to like be financially free so that they don't have to respond to their parents. Because for me, I know families that if your daddy and your mommy is giving you money, you actually have to respond to them. You actually have to do every single thing that they tell you. So it's dependent on the kind of people that your parents are. Thank you.
Totally agree. This is point on spot on Judith. I really agree. And I think that is why a lot of time people are in a hurry to just be financially independent from their parents, because they realize that with every time they send money, they now have a foothold over your choices, even down to who you marry. Thank you very much, Judith. In your bong speak Lambert. And please let's stick to that maybe 2 minutes max if you can. In your bong, Lambert, Jessica, Light. We'll start from Neighbor. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just going to give a brief story. When I started my business, my dad was not, he didn't want me to start the business at all. He got so bad that we fought, because he was like, why should I be doing business when he can always be giving me money? Like, I can always ask him money anytime that he has the money. So why am I starting a business? And I'm like, okay, but I've heard you complain about money before. I've heard you like, I don't understand. I don't want to be a bother to you. So why are you calling to complain about money? What? I'm not a Nepo baby, oh, please. I've just been middle class. Anyways, like, it was just so funny to me, like, this fight is useless. Okay, you want to be giving money, good. Anytime I ask, just give me money, because that is what he wants. I have decided with myself that if I'm asking you for money, you should not even complain. I beg. That's my own take.
Thank you, Neighbor. Thank you so much. Uh, who's next? Lambert. Yeah, Lambert, go ahead and speak. Then Jessica after you.
Thank you so much. Please, am I being heard?
Like, you're not so loud. I don't know if you could bring the phone closer to your mouth.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's better now. It's better. Thank you.
I have a slightly different opinion. I feel like what we talked about the first time, at what age should active parenting recede a little bit? So a lot of people said responsibility when when they're out of. So I think that responsibility is an all-encompassing word that includes financially. I dare say is one of the major parts. One of the things that shows that you are still very much under your parents is when they are providing for you actively. So if active parenting is going to take a step back, active parents' money is also expected to take a little step back and let child's money begin to speak. But like everyone have said, I really love the point about love. Like when they care for you, there are some parents that will always keep sending. But it comes to a certain age, said that when they send, you top it up with something and use it to buy them airtime back. Because being your parents, they'll never stop being your parents. They'll always want to send. But to show that you're actually matured, most of the time you're not actually dependent on that money that they are sending, even if they are sending. But I still agree that they will always be your child, and if they want to send, it's totally fine.
All right. Thank you so much, Lambert. Thank you for your input. Who has this? Jessica, yes. Jessica, you can speak. Then after that, Light, you speak. If you're done speaking, you can put down your hands, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Anabas. Good evening, everybody. So, I believe that in addition to wanting to be on your own, to be able to stand by yourself, there is just an age you get to that you feel like it's time for you to take up some responsibilities in the family. And at that time, I feel like it's important to maybe just, even if you still take the money, but reduce the way. In fact, don't even ask your parents for money at a certain age. And you mentioned something. You said, where did that mindset come from? That from 25 you should stop asking your parents for money. I feel like that mindset comes from the expectation that okay, that is the age where people start breaking out, forming their own families. There's this expectation that at that age you want to, make your own family and stand on your own. And if you're still accepting money or still being actively fed by your parents, I feel like it won't show to them that you are actively doing something. They might look at you as still a child. They would, of course, want to. Some people say, if you're under my house, you have to follow my rules, something like that. I feel like it's also the same way with money. If you're always collecting my money, so why would you want to come and, boss over anybody? That's my opinion.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jessica. I think that's a strong point you have made. What Judith also mentioned, called it that because they can still send you money, so they have rights to your choices. Thank you so much. Light, you speak. Daniel, I think it's Light. We'll stop at Light because we need to go to the next question. Light, go ahead and speak. The next question I'll give you. Thank you. Light, go ahead.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I think that financial independence for young people depends on the gender. I mean, I'm just saying generally, right? I think that gender plays a role in how long parents will continue to financially support. Of course, this depends on the child and the parents. There are some children who generally at 17 they're already very independent. I know people like this. They're sending money back home, not because they have a lot, but because they want to prove to their parents that, see, I'm on my own, or rather I can stand by myself, and I don't want you to think that you need to do too much to help me. I can support myself and add the little I can to this family. There are kids like that. But then I feel like for a boy child, right? Or male children generally, sons are expected to become financially independent earlier, maybe because they are seen as future providers. I think that may be part of it. Daughters, on the other hand, they may receive support for much longer because parents may see it as, oh, girl children need protection, or because some families may say, after we finish taking care of our daughter, or we only stop taking care of our daughter when we're handing her over to her spouse. There are families that work that way. But if the question is when should financial, like helping your children financially stop, I don't think there's an age for it. Whenever help is needed, it should be offered. It's what family is for. This doesn't mean that the child should now come to depend on the parents. So it's help when it's needed, when it's really needed, not as the main source of income for a child who is above 25. That is my 2 cents.
Thank you. Like, but help is really needed every time. Help is needed always. Every time you need money, it's always urgent. All right, thank you very much for your input. So we might not finish everything. I think there is still situationships and friend zones. If we have the time, we'll still tackle that. But now we're going over to 9 to 5, the social stigma surrounding 9 to 5 jobs. And in modern culture, like the 9 to 5 often faces like a social stigma. That's because other forms have been glorified, like entrepreneurship, tech jobs, etc., etc. But I don't know what's the word. Yeah, it's now seen as unambitious. Yeah, that's the word. When you're in a 9 to 5, you don't really have ambition for your life. But there was a time when, as children, when we are singing songs like "Mommy cares for me, Daddy provides." When we sing songs like that, when you're picturing a man, a father, we are seeing a 9 to 5 job. Do you understand? And it was normal. But over the years, we just realized that these things just started changing. There was a time where you would picture a responsible man doing a 9 to 5. But now, I think there was this video that was trending on TikTok at the time. There was a certain lady that was, she wore different outfits. She was saying the way I would dress for a 9 to 5 man who comes to ask for my hand in marriage. And she was dressing very shabbily. Then there was how I would dress for a Yahoo boy. I know that one. I don't know if it was cruise, but it was appalling that such cruise will even be condoned. Do you understand? But I want to ask, what caused the shift? Do you understand? Because there was a time when this kind of job was desirable. Now it's seen as though you don't have ambition. You don't. For me, I feel there are still people who like that kind of setting. Do you understand? It afforded us several things. Community, you could meet people. In fact, some people met their spouse in their place of work, the 9 to 5. Some of these tech jobs now, you're not seeing people. It's just Google meetings and etc. So let me hear from you guys. First, I'll start from Mesoma, Lambent, Brown, then Daniel. So Mesoma, go first. Thank you.
Okay, I saw the other day that 9 to 5 means 9 hours a day, 5 days a week, right? Now, 9 to 5 provided stability. The sudden shift from 9 to 5 these days is, with all the work that someone puts in, how much is the salary with the situation of things in the country? It's not even directly, I'm not sure it's even inversely proportional. It is not proportional at all. Someone living in Lagos will battle traffic, will battle everything, they will battle. Sometimes rain, you will walk distance, Uber cost, transportation money, all these things. And then you come back to the office, you work the entire day, you collect all you collect from your bosses and everything, you go back home. I'm not even sure that they even properly sleep the 8 hours recommended sleep, and then they are back on the road again, some as early as 3:30 a.m 4:30 a.m. So it's not even proportional at all. And now agency does not like stress. So a job where you can sit at home and do all you're supposed to do, and a job where you would pass through all the stress you are going to pass through to collect how much, which one would you take? And I don't even know how much minimum wage is now, but then an average house rent, average at least 300,000. Minimum wage cannot even cover your rent, it cannot even cover your feeding, it cannot cover transportation, it cannot cover anything. But then 9 to 5, I feel like the only advantage 9 to 5 has is stability. Even as an entrepreneur, even if you're not making like money every time, at least you're sure that your job will give you salary at the end of the month. So that's just it.
All right, thank you. Customer mentioned the change in systems since that time and now, and how the minimum wage can no longer afford the things that were considered basic at the time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lambert, go ahead and speak. Thank you.
Exhaustion. It's
Sorry.
everything Mesoma said.
Okay, I was trying to hear. I could not hear it before.
Okay. I think it's pretty much everything Mesoma said. It's the exhaustion, it's the output not commensurate to input. It's 9 to 5 that is actually 8 to 6. Or if you are in Lagos, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. I feel like people saw the suffering, the insults you may have to take at the hands of a boss, the the lack of freedom. You don't get to decide, oh, I'm not going to work today. I personally run my sister's business here in Abuja. I can just stay and not open. Of course, I'll send her my reason, but it's so much more freer. So I think that people just they don't like the suffering that doesn't tally with the salary, just like how Mesoma has said. Just like in the past, they said a take-home salary that cannot even take you home. Some people, by the time they are receiving their pay, it has finished on debt, and as it's coming in, they are using it to clear debt. Then the things you may have to forego. If you're a dad, you're literally not very present in your children's life. As you're leaving, they are still asleep. As you're coming back, they're asleep. We saw our dads not around. It was the moms in the homes. They would go to work and they would come back. They would go to work and they would come back. They were not very present. And you could see that they were giving their all. So it will create this mindset in you. What is this thing that somebody is giving so much to? That is never ending, that is never no breaks, and they're just always tired. And so I think that that previous generation, this current Gen Z, Gen Alpha, saw all that and they didn't really want it. Funny enough, entrepreneurship is even more difficult, but it's difficult for a phase. After the phase passes, you begin to reap the dividends. So in my opinion, I would say that it's the massive input and not commensurate output that make 9 to 5 really distasteful to a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lambert. Thank you. Whose hand is next? Brown, in Brown, go ahead and speak.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, can you hear me? Awesome.
Yes, we can hear you.
So, what Lambert said was just perfect. It was just straight up. Most people, like I live in Abuja, most people who have 9 to 5 can't do only the 9 to 5 to survive. You need an extra job with your 9 to 5. You need a gig with your 9 to 5. Right? So it's not just practically possible. It's not just practically feasible anymore. Which is where the pain for it came from. It's just that if you're doing it, you can't do basic things. You can't do basic things. Most 9 to 5 can't pay your basic bills. You cannot pay your basic bills. Who is going to want to be interested in it? So it's very obvious why this shit happened. You could no longer pay your bills doing a 9 to 5. That's
Thank you very much, Ini Brown. Thank you. So, Daniel, let's hear from you, and then we'll move over to the next question.
Okay. So on this issue of 9 to 5, well, I think why these don't fancy this whole 9 to 5, as others have said, is the work and compared to the pay. Because imagine when you have to work, put in a lot, take insults, and sometimes you don't even have time for yourself coming back. And when it comes in, it's almost peanuts. So agency is like, okay, why should I, or why can I do all this, or why do I have to pass through all this stress when I can just sit at home and still do what somebody that is, doing the whole 9 to 5 shit is doing, and I'm still making more money than the person. So yeah, I think that's basically it.
All right, thank you. So from this conversation we've had, I take that people no longer desire a 9 to 5 because their effort is not commensurate to the pay, of which you guys have proven. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that's all for this. Then lastly, let's just touch on situationships and friend zones. I'll just quickly paste the definition of situationships from the one I got online. So you'll all see. I'll still read it out for those who are not actively viewing the chat room. A situationship is a romantic or sexual connection that lacks clear labels, commitment, or a defined future. And now we find that a lot lately, where people like, oh no, we are just seeing each other. Do you understand? I don't know. I had to do a quick research on this before this review, and I realized that the whole situation thing started at the time where the advent of social media and dating apps, where people felt like they had options. Do you understand? They're afraid to commit to one person because they feel like they might meet someone better, and if they commit, they will not have the chance to get something serious with the person. And so they always feel like there's always someone better. There's always someone better. Hence, I'm just saying this as one of the reasons. Hence, they feel like they don't want to commit. But the fact that you don't want to commit, that's a label on its own. You say, oh, let's just vibe. And I don't know if maybe it's me just being old. I have never admired that idea of just vibing. I don't think I've ever been in a relationship where I've not clearly stated this is where this is going. Do you understand? But I don't know. Maybe there's somebody who has been doing it who probably has a different point of view. But I've not really seen the use of that. People just like, you don't hear that. Let's just vibe. I can't vibe. I can't invest energy and be telling me let's vibe. Vibe today. What's going on? And like I said, I think it's because people always feel like they have options. Social media has made us feel that we have options. There's always someone better. You always meet someone better. And the fact that some dating apps, you can end a relationship in 1 week, 2 weeks. Do you understand? So let me hear your thoughts on that. Let me just hear everyone's thoughts. Daniel, is your hand raised for this subject or for the last one? Oh, Usama said we do have options. Yeah, we have options. I'm just saying that it's now very, very pressing. Like we are like, oh, we can't settle now. Then you realize that you're just vibing with people. Lambert, you can go ahead and speak. I have a lot to say about it, but I don't want to take time. I want to hear from others. So maybe I'll give more points after that.
Am I being heard enough?
Yes, you are being heard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. For me, I would say that I think the default setting of man or of the world is to drift away, to look around. I remember a certain preacher that I adore so much. He said he was starting out in his ministry. God said to him, "Don't look around," because I feel like the default is always to hope for better or to always think that the grass is greener on the other side. So when it comes to commitment and staying, it's effort, it's work. The same way each and every one of us had that time when we wanted to leave our department. What kind of department is this? You study medicine, veterinary medicine, journalism, whatever it is you study. There was a time you just wanted to drop out. There were also times when you were like, oh, if I am here, maybe it will be better. So I feel like those thoughts would come. To commit is a choice. And then when you've made the choice, you now have to work towards it by deliberately shutting down that thing that is likely to move us. So especially in this social media age where you go online and you are seeing relationships that is making you judge yours.
Hila, your voice is fluctuating. I can't hear. Hello,
My
Tehila.
network. I'll just type what I have to say.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it because it's a lot of effort making out your words. Thank you. Sorry about that. Next time I can go ahead and speak then. Promise.
Okay, so the advent of labels for relationships is where our problem started. Because what do you mean talking stage, friend zone, brother zone, situationship, even zones that I've not heard before? Because we don't want to define what you have. You still see friends with benefits. Very long name to cover fornication. That's where the problem started. Because if you meet a an opposite gender, right? And there's something they could discuss and label what you are doing. Which one is talk? Somebody is having 200 talking stage before the year is over. Please, how many days are there in a year? You're having 200 talking stages because you don't want to label your relationship, or you don't want to be exclusive. You don't want to just focus on one person. Maybe this one is giving you money, this one is your driver. You don't have car, this one is always coming with car, this one is sorting out your bills. You don't want to lose all of them. You will not be answering one zone or the other. God will help us.
Thank you, Mesuma. Thank you. I don't think it's practical that 200 talking, but I understand what you mean. But we said 200 talking stage twice. I was like, maybe is this someone you know that has 200 talking stage? Like, what's going on? Promise, go ahead and speak.
Hi guys. I like how we are all acting like we have not had friend zone situationships issues. That is beautiful for all of us. Personally, I think that situationships and friend zones, casual dating are important for character development. You get to meet people, understand people, and probably even find out that this is what you like or what you don't like about the opposite sex. It doesn't have to involve sex per se. So when I talk about these things, I'm not saying you should sleep with as many people as you want to, but you should get to know as many people as you wish to, especially when you're very young. Before maybe you are 23, it does no harm to you. As long as you're not interacting with people who are on the downward path to any addiction or any serial behavior that is terrible for you or that you cannot easily come out of. But if you're casually seeing people, especially at a very young age, let's say 20 to 23, and you're getting to know them, and you're getting to know this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I appreciate in a partner, this is what I don't appreciate in a partner, and they break your heart like 3-4 times or maybe 7 times, you get character development. So I do not see an issue with it for young people. But as you get mature, instinctively too, you become more aware of what you want in a partner, and then you become more serious, more committed to choosing the person that is right for you. So there is no big deal to it if you're very young. I just don't have sex with too many people, guys. So fuck you. Yeah, that's all.
Okay, I believe the concept of situationship is when there is no clear label. What you mentioned now, there's still some form of label. You are getting to know them, like, so you're friends with them in a way. And the context is those who are romantically involved, like you get, and you know that when we talk about romance, it's either there's a relationship or it's leading to marriage. But you are sexually involved with somebody, romantically involved with someone, and yet you ask, "What are we?" The person say, "We are nothing but pencils in the hands of the creator." But you do get my point. It's not necessarily about that one. The one you're talking about is safe. I mean, you meet people, you meet friends.
No, I'm actually not talking about friends. I'm talking about situationships, friend zones, casual dating.
So please, let's talk. Can someone define situationship for me? Like, what's your own definition? So mine is when this is what the definition I know that is generic. When you're romantically involved with someone or sexually involved with someone, and yet it's not clearly defined what people are. Do you understand? I don't know what other definition. Let me hear from you, promise. What do you think it's called?
Well, there are different extents to which I classify romance or romantic connections with people. When you're flirting with someone, when you go out with a person, you dress up, you dress nice. In fact, sex is even involved in it. Depends on what you see as romance. So, I mean everything in general. I'm just saying that when a person is much younger, I believe that they need it for character development. And as you get older, instinctively, I also believe you grow into what you want. But this is outside of a religious context or for people who are on the straight and narrow path to heaven. So I don't know.
All right, thank you. I think I get I get your context now. Thank you for clearing. I just wanted to be clear. That's why I asked again. Thank you, promise. Lights, go ahead and speak. Thank you. I think we'll end with lights because I'd like us to end before 10. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, please confirm that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Okay. So about situationships, yeah, I think that firstly, I think it's that with the I don't know if it's the advent or just because of the way the world is now. Before now, people married earlier, there were stable jobs, people were more financially independent. But today, a lot of young people don't have money or like enough money. They're still figuring life out. They're not sure where they'll be in 5 years or 10 years. This question, they'll be like, where will you be in the next? People are not sure. Everybody's just winging life. So, because everything feels temporarily unstable, people are hesitant to create, and I'm using air quotes when I say this now, permanent commitments. So I could even say that it reflects lack of structure to a certain degree. Something else I think causes this whole advent of situationship and the reason why it's everywhere is that the social media, and wherever you look, it looks like there are choices. If this one not agree for me, another one will agree. Everybody, if you go to the social media, there are different sizes, shapes, colors. It's like you have options so you cannot even settle on one. You're talking to one person, then you're talking to two, then you're talking to three people at the same time, because the moment you look at this person is cuter than the other one I saw. If I choose this person, will I be settling? So nobody wants to feel like they are settling, so they are jumping from. This is one way of looking at it. Another thing I think is that people are avoiding emotional commitment or risk. You don't want to get your heart broken. You don't want pain. You don't want everybody needs companionship. Everybody needs intimacy. Everybody needs support. But being vulnerable, actually sitting down with somebody to talk about the things you're scared of and how life will look like with them, people are avoiding it. So they now, this situationship thing becomes a relationship where they're getting all the benefits, but in their minds, because it's untrue, in their minds, there are no emotional commitments or like you're not giving of yourself in truth to this person. That is another way of looking at it. I'm just going to stop because I can keep going on, and I feel like people are trying to avoid heartbreak. They're trying to avoid being vulnerable. They're trying to avoid expectations, and they don't want to also put a name to what it is they are doing. I feel like situationships have always existed, but now it's widespread. It's everywhere because nobody wants to. I don't try.
Thank you. I do get your point. Quite insightful point you shared. And one that really struck me is the fact that when you mentioned that a lot of times people really don't know what they want to do in their life at the time, and so they can't also say no at that time. So they just find that they are just going along with the flow. Probably, I think we'll discuss this extensively for next episode of Nights Like This because the issue is quite deep, and the fact that when is the right time to settle. Do you understand? Some people like, I need to find myself, I need to discover. And like 4 years, they are still in that phase. Sometimes they even settle, even the process. But we'll discuss that much later, maybe next episode of Nights Like This. And I really want to, Lambert, I'm seeing your hand, but sorry, I mentioned I would end today's review before 10 p.m. And it's already 5 minutes to 10. But you can drop your comments in the WhatsApp chat group and then we'll continue. Thank you so much. I'd like to appreciate the one who logged in. They logged in very early and for your input. I really, really do. I know that this topic is quite sensitive and personal to an extent, and I want to thank you all for making our time to share your points. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and see you guys in the chat group, like WhatsApp chat group. Have a wonderful night. Thank you. Bye.
Don't forget to hit the follow button and tap on the notification icon to stay updated. That's all for today's episode. To join our book club or stay updated on future discussions, follow us on Instagram and X at Jollof Book Club, Jollof with a double F. And thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to hit the follow button and tap on the notification icon to stay updated. That's all for today's episode. To join our book club or stay updated on future discussions, follow us on Instagram and X at Jollof Book Club, Jollof with a double F. And thank you so much for listening.